Hello, welcome to Exotic Gardening UK, Yorkshire Kris Weekly. And on this week's episode, we're going to be digging up these Trachycarpus princeps palm and creating a new bed in the garden. So for those that have been watching my channel for a long time, you may remember it was 8 years ago I planted this bed, and this was the first bed I planted in this garden, where I got the raised border set out in the middle of the garden and planted the big jabea out, and it's grown really well since then. And we also planted the Trachycarpus princeps palms, which were very small plants, around the corners of this bed, and everything obviously was much smaller then. Things have grown up now, and the Trachycarpus palms are sort of over the edges of the paths, and it's harder to get by without hitting the leaves and damaging them. So we're going to dig those up. And with the Trachycarpus palms, what I did last summer was to actually get my spade and do like a trench all the way around it, severing roots like a square around it. And I did that on all of these, just so that the roots could be broken and would be easy to lift this year, and also where those roots are broken, stimulate more growth of new roots closer to the centre of the root ball, so that it will transplant better. So hopefully it won't be too hard to dig these up. I do know from experience that Trachycarpus princeps palms especially put out absolutely tons and tons of roots. Even if you've got a little tiny plant above the ground, underground, massive root system that spread out quite far and quite vigorously. So they might be a bit more tricky to dig up, but we'll try. So this is probably the biggest of the 3 princeps palms that we're going to dig up today, and it is a very slow growing palm, but this one actually has done pretty well. It's quite stocky now, it's grown quite wide, and now it's really ready to go up. But before it can go up, I want to plant it somewhere else where it has far more space and we can really see those amazing leaves. So, got my spade, got my root slayer if I need it as well. I'm just going to go around here and dig it up. And like I said, I've already gone round last year through the trench round, but it's still going to be, I'm sure, pretty intensive to get through all these new roots. And there's lots of gravel in here as well. So I'm just going to go around now and dig up this palm. Right. Oh, I think we're nearly there now. I've gone all the way around, severed all the roots once more, and now I'm basically just levering it up with the root slayer. It should come free. Right, there we go. So just put that down to one side, and I'll lift this out. Oh, right, okay, let's have a look at those roots. So here you can see all the roots that we've severed. Got loads of roots there, nice and healthy, sort of the creamy colour. And they've gone out in all directions, and because the soil I put in this bed originally was extremely sandy and free draining, it's meant as I've lifted it out, a lot of the soil has come off the roots, so I've got quite a lot of exposed roots. And because it's a hot sunny day, I need to quickly get this in the ground before those roots dry off and die out. But if I just lift up the palm, you can see it's a fair old size now. It's properly starting to get a trunk, and you can see it's very distinctive with the white, bluish glaucous colour here on the petioles and the leaves. Wonderful colour, especially in the sunlight. And the trunk's got all these wonderful fibres on them, very different from the Trachycarpus fortunei. But the roots, like I said, are very vigorous, but we don't want them to dry out, so I'm going to get this planted right now. So this is a bed where we're going to plant out Trachycarpus palms today, and it's a raised bed. It's mixed up with original topsoil that was here. Added loads of imported topsoil, a bit of manure, loads of compost and a bit of sand as well, just to get the drainage right and all the nutrients as well. And I put a bit of general purpose fertiliser on the soil as well and just dug that over. And I've used these bollards, wooden bollards, to make the raised beds and screw them into some posts. And we're going to plant the Trachycarpus palms equidistant down here, so we get 3 nicely spaced out so we can really see them all the way around. They're not jostling with other plants, and we'll be able to, over the years, when they grow up, see them amazing white silvery underneath of the leaves that you don't get on any other hardy palm in the UK. These here, these big posts, I'm going to knock these in a little bit further to get them sturdier, and we're going to plant the giant sunflowers against these posts, and hopefully they'll grow well above this fence and get to be about 3 or 4 metres tall, all being well. So I'm going to dig my hole, the first palm. Like I said, I've got 3, so obviously if I plant the first one slap bang in the middle, and I'll plant the other 2 spaced out on both sides. So here is the middle of the bed. So I'll just dig out a hole, which is very easy to do because, like I said, it's all imported topsoil mixed with good quality topsoil that was already here, which was clay. It's got a few weeds in here that I need to just dig over, but nothing worrying like couch grass or bindweed or anything like that. That's a nice big hole now, and there's quite a lot of gravel under here as well, because if you remember, this was where my vegetable plot, we had gravel and bark chippings either side for the paths. Right, that's a good big hole, plenty of gravel in there. We'll see how the palm fits in this space. Because obviously we want to get it level and find its best. Obviously that's not level. I've got to see its best sort of way we're going to put this. I think obviously I need to make the hole a bit bigger, but I think that's going to look pretty impressive. Right, I'll make the hole bigger and get this planted. Now I've firmed the soil really well around this palm, and you can see the base of the trunk is level with the soil and there's a slight depression going towards it, just so we can give it a good drink of water. And we've also covered all the base where the trunk and the roots meet, because roots do come up sort of a bit higher than the start of the trunk sometimes. I've covered all those roots, and because we've dug this up and transplanted it, Trachycarpus palms can deal with that. A lot of palms will basically die or always go backwards if you dig them up and move them. Trachycarpus are one of the palms where you can successfully transplant them, but even still you've got to balance the roots with the top growth, and because we've severed lots of the roots, I do need to remove some of these wonderful leaves, which is a shame because they're so beautiful, but it will do the palm better in the long run if I do remove some of those leaves. So I've got my secateurs, I have disinfected these. It's really important to do that so we don't introduce any fungal or bacterial or viruses into the palm. And I'm just going to take off a few of these leaves close to the base. That one's just got a little bit hanging. There we go. Look at that wonderful leaf, bluey white underneath. And there's a few around this side. I'll probably take off, well, there's a damaged leaf here, so I'll just take off that part. I'll take off probably 2 or 3 more leaves, and then we'll give this a really good drink of water, and I'll mean like 2 or 3 full watering cans full of water to give this a really good soak and establish well. And like I said, there's some fertilizer put into the soil as well. I'll drench this with seaweed extract in the water as well, just to give that a really good start, and then we'll leave it to it basically. As long as we keep this well watered for the first year, this will thrive, and after maybe 2 or 3 years it will really start growing well, because the first couple of years it just gets over that shock of being transplanted, but then roots will be down and the growth will be up. Right, 2 more to plant in this bed. So I've just dug up the second one, and you can see we've got good roots in front of us. If you see when I turn it around, we've got no roots really on the other side. And what's happened here is something common with Trachycarpus princeps palms. It's suffered from basal canker. As you can see them better on this side, there's hardly any root growth even after 8 years on this side, and you can see this corky growth. I'll just zoom in a bit there. This corky growth is a canker that affected this palm, and it was very small. It really affected it. I thought it was going to die, but it came back, it soldiered on, and it's basically done all its growth from one side. So this palm is much smaller than the other 2 because of this basal canker, but it's still pretty happy. We've got some new roots on the bad side and lots on the good side, so I'll plant this carefully in the other part of the garden. I'll make sure it's levelled and all the good healthy roots aren't disturbed any further. And again, I'll remove a few of these leaves just to bounce off the fact that we've disturbed the roots of this palm. And the third, and possibly the biggest, Trachycarpus princeps, I've gone round with the root slayer, cut through all those roots again, and I've got lots of nice fibrous roots as well as the main root in this very sandy soil. And I'm going to lift this now and take it down there for the new border. So that's the 3 Trachycarpus princeps palms, all different sizes, planted out after being transplanted. And I think the main thing to remember when transplanting palms is to get as much root as you can, and to reduce the amount of leaves you have on the plant as well, to accommodate the fact that you've taken off a lot of roots. Plant in really good rich soil, nice and free draining, add a bit of fertiliser, bloodfish and bone or groma or something like that. Firm it in well, water well, and then keep that watered throughout the first year to allow the plants to establish, and then we'll have some very happy palm trees. And that's all we're going to do in this episode. Join me next time where we're planting up this bed with summer colour and sunflowers. So join me then. Thank you for watching.